The night air was heavy, sticky with summer heat, but the weight in my chest had nothing to do with the weather. It started over nothing, as always. Amanda, my sister, had dropped a slice of cake in front of me with a smirk. I was still bruised from yesterday's argument, so I stayed quiet, just nodding. "Wow," Amanda sneered, tilting her head like a queen. "Not even a thank you?" "Figures." Dad looked up from his beer, eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" I froze, fork clutched in my hand. She didn't say anything, Dad," Amanda cut in, feigning innocence, though her lips curved into that sick grin. She just stared at me. No manners, no respect. Like a stray dog. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. The word hung in the air. Dog. That was her favorite weapon, and Dad never let it pass. The chair screeched as he stood, his boots stomping the linoleum like thunder. His face was already red, his jaw clenched. "Stand up." I stood slowly, hands trembling. "You think you're too good to say thank you? You think you don't owe your sister respect?" I did say it," I whispered, voice cracking. "Louder." Amanda leaned against the wall, folding her arms. "She can't, Dad. She's not like us. She's like an animal. They don't know words." That was all it took. His hand shot forward, grabbing the back of my neck, his grip like iron. My body lurched forward as he dragged me toward the back door. My feet scrambled, my nails scraped the wood frame, but it didn't matter. He yanked me outside, the screen door slamming shut behind us. The night sky blurred as he shoved me down into the grass, then yanked me back up, his knuckles grinding into my skin. I gasped, but he didn't stop. He hauled me across the yard like I was nothing, my knees scraping against rocks, dirt embedding in my skin. Behind us, Amanda's laughter rang out. "Look at her crawl! Dad, maybe tie her up with the dog's leash so she learns." He threw me down at the fence, gripping my hair so hard I saw stars. His voice dropped into a growl, each word venom. "Animals should learn manners. If you can't thank your sister like a human being, then you'll learn the hard way." My chest heaved, my throat burned. Tears blurred my vision, but I bit them back. I knew showing weakness only fed him more. Amanda shouted again. "Say it! Say thank you, Amanda! Loud enough so the neighbors know who's better." The boot pressed against my shoulder, forcing me into the dirt. I choked out the words, "Thank you." Louder. His grip tightened on my hair until pain seared through my scalp. "Thank you, Amanda!" I screamed, my voice hoarse, echoing across the yard. Amanda clapped like a child getting candy. "Good girl, see, Dad? Even animals can be trained." He shoved me into the dirt one last time, then turned away. "Next time, you won't." Forget! The two of them walked back inside, laughing while I lay there in the cold grass, the taste of dirt in my mouth and humiliation scorching deeper than any bruise. But as I stared up at the night sky, my breath ragged, something in me shifted. They thought they broke me, dragged me down to nothing. But crawling on the ground, I realized something they didn't. Animals don't stay leashed forever. Sometimes they learn to bite back. I didn't sleep that night. My scalp still burned where Dad's hand had wrenched my hair, and my knees were raw from the dirt. But the deeper ache wasn't in my skin. It was in my chest, where humiliation gnawed at me like fire. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Amanda's smirk. I heard Dad's growl. "Animals should learn manners." That line repeated in my head until it stopped hurting and started fueling something darker. The next morning, I moved like a ghost in the house. Amanda sat at the table scrolling through her phone, wearing one of my old sweatshirts she had stolen years ago. She didn't even glance at me. Dad barked from his recliner. "Make sure Amanda's plate is full before yours. Don't make her wait." Mom chimed in as she stirred her coffee. "And wipe that face off. You look like a sulking mutt. If you can't behave, you'll eat on the floor." I did what they said, silent, my mind racing with every cruel word. Later, Amanda strutted through the living room, tossed her empty glass at me, and laughed when it hit my arm. "Say thank you for the privilege of serving me," she mocked. I didn't respond. That silence, that was new. I wasn't crying, wasn't begging. I was calculating. For years, their power came from the same thing: control. Dad controlled with fear, Mom with mockery, Amanda with constant belittling. They thrived when I reacted. They needed my tears, my apologies, my obedience to feel strong. But what if I flipped it? What if, instead of proving them wrong, I made their control worthless? What if I treated them the way they treated me? Not with violence, not with shouting, but by reducing them to the very animals they accused me of being. That thought simmered, sharp and cold. The first step was patience. I waited, day after day, obeying, listening, studying. I memorized Amanda's patterns, how she spent hours polishing her appearance, how she loved to parade herself as untouchable. I noticed Mom's obsession with a perfectly kept house, how a single stain on her white counters made her unravel. And Dad? His pride wasn't in his family. It was in his dominance, in knowing nobody challenged him. So I decided my revenge would be inside these very walls. I wouldn't shout. I wouldn't strike. I would strip them of the things they worshipped. That night, when everyone was asleep, I slipped outside into the yard where Dad had dragged me. The grass was still pressed flat where my body had scraped across it. My nails dug into the dirt as I whispered, "Never again." From then on, I stopped being their victim. I became their shadow. When Amanda demanded respect, I gave her silence. When Dad barked orders, I obeyed too quickly, making him suspicious of why. When Mom insulted me, I just stared until her words faltered. The balance began to tilt, and then small actions. Not childish sabotage, but deliberate, cutting moves. I took Amanda's mirror off the wall one afternoon and replaced it with an old, cracked one from the garage. She shrieked the moment she saw her reflection warped, convinced she looked ruined. Mom's house? I didn't wreck it. I made it too clean, scrubbing until the smell of bleach made her gag, until the shine of the counters showed every flaw she missed. She started muttering about things being wrong, even though nothing was. Dad's dominance? I began repeating his own words back at him in whispers. When he told me animals should learn manners, I'd pass him the salt at dinner and say under my breath, "Animals don't stay leashed forever." His eyes would flicker, unsettled, though he never admitted it. Piece by piece, I was teaching them the same lesson they'd tried to teach me. Only this time, they were the ones squirming. But I wasn't done, because revenge couldn't just be small victories. It had to be something that carved into their bones, something they would never forget, and I knew exactly how to deliver it. The next blow wouldn't be whispered, it wouldn't be hidden. It would be a moment where they'd have no choice but to face themselves and choke on the cruelty they'd poured into me. The breaking point came one Saturday afternoon. Amanda had her friends over, lounging in the living room while Mom fussed around and Dad barked orders from his recliner. I had been cleaning nonstop since sunrise, hands raw, eyes burning, but I said nothing. Amanda strutted into the kitchen, holding her empty glass like a queen. "Hey," she called out, "refill this and say thank you for the chance to serve me." Her friends snickered. I walked over, calm. I took the glass, set it on the counter, and turned back toward her. "No," I said flatly. The room went silent. Even Dad's head snapped up. Amanda blinked, then laughed nervously. "What did you say?" "I said no." The color drained from her face as Dad exploded from his chair. "Who do you think you are? You don't say no in my house." He charged at me, hand already reaching for my neck. But this time I didn't flinch. I stepped aside and he stumbled into the counter. The crash startled everyone. "Animals should learn manners, right?" I whispered. "Then let's see how animals live." I grabbed the broom leaning against the wall, the same broom Mom had once used to beat me. Instead of swinging it, I snapped it clean across my knee, the crack echoing through the room. "You break me. I break everything you use against me," I said, my voice steady. Mom gasped. Amanda stammered. Dad's face turned red, but there was hesitation in his eyes. And that's when I moved to the next stage. Over the past weeks, I had prepared. I had quietly taken things they depended on. Amanda's hidden stash of makeup, Mom's perfectly folded linens, Dad's favorite tools, and locked them away in an old trunk I kept in my room. Every piece of their pride, every token of control I had claimed as mine. Now, in front of them, I dragged the heavy trunk into the living room and threw it open. Inside were their things, jumbled and dirty. Amanda's perfume bottles, Mom's white napkins stained with soil, Dad's prized wrench bent in half. "You called me an animal," I said, staring directly at Dad. "So I learned from animals. Animals don't say thank you. They take what they need to survive. And I survived you." I turned to Amanda. "You mocked me for serving you. Now look, everything you thought made you special, it's mine, and you'll never touch it again." Her lips trembled, her face pale. Then to Mom, "You said my tears were for cleaning. Now look at your linens. Ruined. You can cry over them all you want, but they'll never be pure again." Finally, I faced Dad. He tried to stand tall, but his fists were clenched too tight, his jaw trembling. "You dragged me across this yard," I said, voice low and sharp. "Now, every time you step outside, you'll remember the dirt on my skin, and you'll wonder when it'll be your turn to crawl in it." The room stayed frozen, everyone's eyes wide. I picked up the broken broomstick, laid it across the open trunk, and stepped back. "You wanted me on the floor. You wanted me to bow. But from now on, every time you look at me, you'll know who really owns this house, and it isn't you." For the first time in my life, they didn't speak. Not Mom with her mocking lines, not Amanda with her smirks, not Dad with his rage. Their silence was louder than any scream. I walked out of the living room slowly, broom half in my hand, half dragging against the floor, each scrape echoing behind me. And I knew, as the air shifted, that I had done what they never expected. I had taken the one thing they worshipped most, their control, and smashed it into dust. From that day on, the house was different. No more commands barked from Dad's chair. No more smug demands from Amanda. No more smug comments from Mom. They avoided me, avoided my eyes, avoided the sound of the broom sweeping across the floor. They didn't dare call me an animal again, because they knew animals bite back. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.